August the 3rd, 2026, at 2:47 in the afternoon in Stephenville, Texas, right at the corner of West Washington and North Columbia Street. It's 98 degrees outside and the asphalt's so hot you can smell it baking. There's a pair of Orange County issued pants balled up in a drainage ditch. They're still damp with sweat. And a bloodhound named Lola has her whole face buried down in them. Nobody explained anything to her. She's just a dog. It's a pair of pants and a man somewhere in this town who thinks he got away. I've got 5 fugitives for you today who ran as hard as they could from the law. And every single one of them got caught because a dog with 300 million scent receptors said, "Oh no sirree, Bob, not today." I'm Mr. B, and this is how bloodhounds run down the outlaws nobody else can find. Before we get into the cases, you need to know what a bloodhound really is, because most folks picture a big, sad-looking dog asleep on the porch. And okay, that part's true. I've had some of those. But there's a reason this breed has been tracking humans since the 1500s. These dogs got their start with monks, real monks, over in Belgium back in the 700s. That's a hell of a long time ago, and it was at the St. Hubert Monastery. They are breeding scent hounds to honor the patron saint of hunters, and every year they'd send their best dogs to the King of France as a gift. Well, that sure beats the tar out of somebody giving you a damn candle from Costco as a gift, don't it? And the name Bloodhound doesn't mean what you figured. It's got nothing to do with blood. It means blooded hound, like a dog of noble blood, pure breeding. These were the royalty of the dog world. Over 1,000 years of careful breeding gave them something no other animal on earth has quite like this, which is a nose that can pick up as few as 1 or 2 invisible scent particles off of a trail. To give you some perspective, you got about 5 million scent receptors up your nose. A bloodhound is carrying about, over 300 million scent receptors up their nose, somewhere around 40 times what you got. Their senses of smell run somewhere between 100, let me rephrase because I already gave the answer away, run somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 times sharper than yours. Those long floppy ears that drag on the ground just aren't for looks. They sweep the scent particles up off the dirt and funnel them right towards the nose. Those big wrinkly folds of skin around their face, like my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law has, those folds of skin around her face pull the same duty. They trap scent like a catcher's mitt. Now, when I first learned this, I told my buddy, wouldn't it be cool to have a nose like that? He was, he eagerly agreed. And then he fired back something about campfire beans, and I instantly realized I don't want a nose like that, not around my buddy. Now here's how this works. Every single person on the planet sheds something called butyric acid, and your version of it is one of a kind, sort of like your own brand of campfire beans. A bloodhound could pull your specific butyric acid signature out of a crowd of 1,000 people and follow it across 130 miles of ground. There's a documented case out in Oregon where a bloodhound followed a trail that was over 330 hours long. That's down near 2 weeks, and still walked up on the people at the end of it. A trainer named Larry Allen out of West Virginia, who spent over 25 years training bloodhounds for law enforcement, said the working ability of a bloodhound is 75% nature and 25% nurture. So there's 3/4 of this is already baked into the DNA of the dog, and the other part is basically training that DNA to find what you want it to go find. Now, let's get back to Lola and those pants in the ditch. August the 3rd, 2026, just a few days ago. Treston Nolte breaks out of the Earth County Jail in custody in Texas and ditches his pants trying to change how he looks. A Texas game warden, which you gotta watch these game wardens, They got more rights than a cop does, which is good because that's what game wardens need. Everybody they walk up on's got a damn gun, right? So a Texas game warden, Bloodhound, named Lola, is a K9 Lola, they called her, gets those pants shoved under her nose, drops her head, and she takes off. Which, somebody shoved somebody's pants up my nose, I think I'd drop my head and take off too, but she did it a different way. She went down city streets, through the alleys, over a mile of pavement and gravel and curbs. She hit the Bosque River and don't even slow down. She goes right across the river. Lola comes out the other side, soaking wet. She still got her nose down, and she marches the deputy straight to where Nolte was hiding. They had him cuffed inside the hour. Just a few weeks ahead of this, back in July 2026, just recently, a man named Craig Berry allegedly shot his wife in what got reported as an attempted murder. Then he ran into the deep woods of Stewart County, Tennessee. Rugged, thick brush. I've been there before. The kind of woods where you can stand 10 feet away from a deer stand and never see it. All kinds of agencies came out with helicopters and ground teams and the whole show, but they brought in a Georgia Department of Corrections K9 unit, Bloodhound. And that dog locked onto Barry's fresh trail and started hauling its handler through the brush like a kid dragging his mama through a toy owl. They ran him down through the terrain that'll make a deer hunter throw in the towel. They cornered him and they took him in. An armed fugitive wanted for attempted murder, and he got caught because a dog smelled him clean through the forest. Dude should have taken a damn bath, right? Let me take you back to the May of 2025 in Calico Rock, Arkansas. I've been there. A convicted murderer named Grant Hardin, the one the media took to call him the devil in the Ozarks. He burst out of the North Central Unit, which is a medium security prison. He was serving 30 years for murder. A specialized prison bloodhound named Millie. They give these dogs the great names, right? Well, Millie got sent out straight from the facility's K9 unit, got handed Hardin's discarded bed sheets. I don't want to smell some of those things either, but the dogs get off on it, man. And Millie started tracking right off the bat. But then again, if somebody's going to shove that shit up your nose, you probably want to go ahead and do what you need to make sure they don't do it again, right? But here's where it turned rough. Heavy rains rode through. I'm sure if y'all pay attention to this, you saw it in the news. It took some time. The heavy rains rode through, real brutal weather, and Millie tracked Hardin about a quarter of a mile before the rain washed that trail right out. Even losing a scent for a stretch didn't kill the hunt because the experts have confirmed a bloodhound can pick up a fresh trail days after somebody escapes. Millie and the team stayed after it, and they got Hardin contained. And that was a 10-month-old dog doing all the prison manhunt work. Most 10-month dogs are still chewing your shoes, right? In that same 2024, 2025 window, a convicted inmate named Nathaniel Adam Stringer walked off of his work release site in Morgan County, Alabama. Didn't sneak, didn't dig a tunnel, just got up and left. A 2-year-old bloodhound named Jeb and his handler took an article of Stringer's clothing and tracked him through the woods. And here's the part that gets me. Jeb pinned down the exact spot where Stringer got picked up by a vehicle. The trail changed, the scent concentration shifted, and Jeb told his handler right there, he said, he cut in the car, roof, roof, right here. Probably didn't use those words, but he did say some shit that the handler knew. The deputies closed the perimeter around that information and grabbed Stringer. The dog couldn't chase down a car, but he could tell them exactly where the car pulled off. Going back a little bit further, in June of 2022, an inmate broke out of Cal Fire Correctional Camp in Chino, California. He took off on foot like a big old dumbass. Local police put bloodhounds on him with an article of the inmate's clothing, and those dogs trailed him 5 miles through streets and yards and across fences, right into a residential neighborhood, and found him tucked down in thick bushes. 5 miles on foot. And that California heat, that dog didn't quit. That dog didn't turn around. It didn't even get pulled off course by some fellow grilling hamburgers nearby. Although I may have stopped off and wanted a hamburger, but still, that's just me, not the dog. Dog was just nose down, 1 foot after the other for 5 miles. And the thing, about a bloodhound that no piece of technology has ever managed to copy? Well, we got drones and thermal imaging and helicopters flying infrared, and not one bit of that gear can do what a bloodhound does, which is tell you which specific person walked through a specific spot and which way they were headed. A thermal camera shows you a warm body, and the bloodhound shows you that warm body's whole route for the last 12 hours. The bloodhound is the only animal whose trailing evidence is admissible in the United States courts. Do you know that? And that's been affirmed across 61 court cases in 44 states. PBS once called them a nose with a dog attached. Captain Vonley Milken, a police captain over in Lexington, Kentucky in the early 1900s, used bloodhounds to bring in over 2,500 criminals. He brought them into justice across his career. And a legendary bloodhound named Nick Carter got credited with over 650 successful finds. One of them on a trail that had gone 105 hours old. That's nearly a week. You can run, you can cross rivers, you can ditch your clothes and hide in bushes 5 miles away. You can even try dumping pepper on your own trail like these two guys who broke out of a maximum security prison up in New York back in 2015 did. They collected dozens of containers of black and cayenne pepper for the express purpose of throwing off the dogs. The damn hamburger didn't throw them off, that pepper ain't either, because it didn't do a damn thing for them. Because a bloodhound couldn't care less about your plan. It doesn't care about the weather. It ain't going to get tired or bored. Sure as hell doesn't lose interest. And it's 1,000 years of monks, kings, and breeding, not to mention all that pure instinct stuffed inside of a 120-pound bag of wrinkles. And the second it puts that nose down, you're already caught, you just ain't found out yet. If you got something out of this one, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. I'm Mr. V, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Ed and Lynn.